Should the FIG look at this and adopt it maybe?
Yeah, I don't know how they have it. Like, I don't see an issue with it at all. And like, I don't really use mats that much just because my skills, like in NCAA, don't need them. But like, I don't do my Jaeger here, and if I did do my Jaeger, I know I'd want that mat in. To me, I just can't wrap my head around why it's not like permitted yet. But I really hope that that rule is like really pushed to be changed, because I just feel like it could prevent so many unnecessary injuries.
Today we have the pride of Ireland, Minnesota's Emma Slevin is here. We have a response from the Judges Association following our judge interview last week, and back by popular demand, the Regional Debate Club is here. Today is March 30th, 2026, and welcome to the #1 gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. I'm Jessica Spencer from the Balance Beam Situation. NCAA live show tickets are on sale now. So this is at NCAA Championships, April 17th, the day off. It's very fun. There's a margarita stand. Club members, you can get an early bird discount. It ends on Wednesday, April 1st, which is tomorrow. And this is open to everyone. You can come in person or you can get a virtual ticket and you can ask questions to our special guests with your virtual ticket. You can chat with other watchers with the virtual ticket. There's games. And as of this recording, there's only one VIP ticket left. So get your tickets now at gymcastic.com. All right, Spencer, it was an eventful week last week.
Was it? Tell me about it.
So we had a response last week to our interview with the judge, Jason Buttons, who talked about a lot of issues that we have both heard from both coaches and judges and gymnasts for, the past 15, 20 years, which is about, judging not being consistent in NCAA and USAG meets. That interview made a lot of people happy because a lot of people felt like, oh, finally someone is willing to say this out loud, and the rest of us are afraid to say it because it will affect our jobs or affect our judging assignments, or it'll affect how my gymnasts are judged. So we got a response from the National Association of Women's Gymnastics Judges, the institution who assign judges and recommend judges to assign. USA Gymnastics creates the tests and administers them. So can you read the letter?
Yeah. It says NAWGJ is aware of comments made in a recent podcast interview concerning collegiate women's gymnastics judging and judging more broadly. While NAWGJ does not typically respond to individual commentary, we are doing so here because the interview included repeated assertions about judging, qualifications, testing, accountability, meet referees, and administration that were inaccurate, unsupported, and harmful to the judging community. The comments were not authorized by NAWGJ and did not comply with the NAWGJ media policy and were made in an individual capacity. They do not represent NAWGJ, its leadership members, or the NCAA, and should not be relied upon as authoritative. Official interpretations, policies, and procedures are communicated only through authorized NAWGJ channels. This matter is being addressed through NAWGJ's established disciplinary procedures. Consistent with that process, NAWGJ will not comment further. NAWGJ remains committed to professionalism, the integrity of judging, and responsible service to the sport.
One thing to know is that I have reached out to the NAWGJ for interviews or clarification, and we have never had a robust response, I will say. They've never agreed to an interview. And I asked again in this case if they would like to do an interview, and I also followed up, as is the responsible journalistic thing to do, which is, hey, I want to give you an opportunity to respond. I laid everything out specifically so they wouldn't even have to listen to the interview. Here are all the points made, and ask them follow-up. Is there anything that you are working on which has, data collection or things that we can point to, like the JET system that the FIG has that, you want people to know about other than the scoreboard, which is a system that judges can opt into for NCAA judging. And we didn't get a response, only this letter. I followed up again and asked if they could tell us specifically which parts they think were inaccurate or incomplete, and I also got no response to that. What are your thoughts on this, Spencer?
I mean, on one hand, I am actually, it's kind of the policy of the organization that they don't respond to anything. So even this press release is somewhat novel in its own way. But I also feel like if you are willing to make this response, and say, okay, the assertions were inaccurate, then I think you need to go further and actually engage with it. And okay, like you said, what do you think is inaccurate? I understand why the organization would be angry. They don't come across great. And so, and it is, a violation of their policy to make comments about judging like that, which everyone knew, going in, right?
Well, it's not a violation of their policy to make comments on judging. It's a violation of the policy to not get permission to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the thing that's frustrating is that, we've had five judges on the show and do interviews, and they've clarified specific points about judging. And there have been actually like 7 judges who, including those interviews, who have responded to requests for specific clarification. The interesting thing is like the FIG judges and dealing with USA Gymnastics tend to be much more transparent and much more willing to clarify and talk about things than we've ever had. We have more cooperation, I would say, than this judging association. And also we had the, creator of the FIG's Judges Evaluation Program, the JET program, on, which the FIG was very open about, hey, there's a big problem with judging. We don't want to have judging scandals. So here's what we're going to do about it, And they didn't, Hughes Mercier, who created that program, didn't require FIG permission to come on the show and talk about it. And part of that interview was talking about all the problems that the FIG had and why it was necessary to create the program. And all of those problems still exist in the US judging system, from NCAA to Dev. So, yeah, I think it's frustrating that they don't address the specific issues. And, the problem is, like, we don't just have people on that, like, willy-nilly off the street.
Well, yeah, that's why they released a statement in the first place, I think, because it's not just like us being like, man, I thought the judging was bad. It's like, I'm going to do that anyway. What else is new? It's one of their own saying, here are the problems.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. And there are these problems, and I think it takes a lot of courage to say these things out loud, because no one else has been willing to do this. I've tried for years to get someone to go on the record and talk about these issues in judging in the US, and no one will do it. And I think it's really interesting that 99% of the fan response to the interview was positive, because like they're not being gaslit finally about the scores, someone else being like, yeah, there's issues. But I also think there are a lot of fans who have left, like especially NCAA Gymnastics, they won't watch it because of the judging, because it just does not follow the code of points. They don't follow the rules. This is just black and white issue. And I'm not saying they don't mean to, it's just how the system works. And also there is one very major media outlet that does not cover, it's told us specifically, they don't cover this, NCAA Gymnastics, other than like fluff pieces about an athlete, but the actual sport itself, because the judging is illegitimate. So, yeah, I think the scoreboard, which we've talked about at length, this is something that the NCAA coaches insisted on, which is a new system that the judges can now opt into to have their scores evaluated. And if there's a problem, they get feedback. That is a good system, and they're collecting data, and hopefully that data will turn into actual change. And I heard from many NCAA coaches and judges who were very pleased with this interview and were like, yeah, this is why, we created this system. But also I think it's important to look at like how the judges are chosen. So just to go back to like there not being transparency, and we're not really having there isn't a real evaluation system. Is there a database system that quantifies who is the most consistent based on the code of points? Again, we'll keep following up and try to get these answers, but I just think I think all of this sums up the frustration that fans feel, and why a lot of fans have left NCAA Gymnastics, and why, major news outlet doesn't cover it because of these things. So we hope there's more things like the scoreboard, because there are so many great judges out there. There's so many judges we appreciate, and the sport couldn't happen without the judges. So we want them to be recognized and be able to be like, yes, I don't just think I'm the best judge. I can prove it because here's the data. Give them gold stars, give them a parade. That's what we would like to see, honestly.
Yeah, and I think just in general, I would be pleased by a move toward overall transparency in everything that the judges do, because that's how you restore trust in judging. Like, clearly there is a lack of trust within the organization, within the judges, and externally. So, show how the sausage is made, show your work. We always benefit, like, the judges who will reach out anonymously and be like, oh, you were mad about that score, but actually there is this, little thing in the NCAA rules modifications that says it actually does like this, so this is how you judge it. We always benefit from that feedback, and I think the gymnastics viewing community as a whole would benefit from more of that, rather than just, no, we don't, how dare you.
Yep, I agree. So we had Jesolo over the weekend. It is an invitational in Italy, which is basically, if you're going to debut your badass hopefuls, this is the meet they debut. And you may have heard the name Elena Colas many times, who you thought I was describing when I was trying to describe Joan of Arc.
Jessica was trying to describe Joan of Arc, and I thought she was trying to describe Elena Colas, so we will now and forever be calling Elena Colas Joan of Arc.
So she won the all-around, because she's a senior now, with are you ready for this? A 54 all-around. 54 something. So, yeah, that's an excellent that's a big score. That's great. The U.S. senior team won gold. Benedetta Gava from Italy won vault. Colas won bars again. As we know, she is very good. 14.45, still lower than 34-year-old Becky Downey's 14.6 at British Championships. But Elena Colas is very good on bars. Balance beam, Mayana Prat from France, 13.5. Also, Isabella Ajala from Argentina, second on beam.
Excellent.
So excited. I'm so excited. And Reese Esponda won floor. So much great feedback. That's probably the routine, besides obviously Charlie Bullock's bar routine, which is great. And she took second or third on bars, I think. But Reese Esponda's floor got a lot of praise. People really liked the new choreography, unique choices. It really fits her. 13.65.
And a whip double A.
Yes. Which is
so just a little whip double A, which is very nice. High D score, 6.2 in the event final. And I think one of our comments on the U.S. performance at Worlds last year was the U.S. there's no reason that the U.S. women aren't more competitive for more medals on floor and getting higher scores. So I think it's quite significant. That's the most significant result of this competition, I think, for the U.S. women, is Reese Esponda having such a high D score and getting such a high score on floor. And I think that was the standout routine, and Elena Colas's bars, particularly her toe point on her dismount. That is very satisfying.
Toe point on the dismount.
The big showcase routines. Everyone fell in the beam final, which is not super surprising. It happens. It's a beam final. I would be interested to know if the U.S. women's had trouble with the vault or weren't comfortable with the equipment, because there were a couple weird mistakes, like at the event final, Reese Esponda totally missed her block, totally crashed her Yurchenko double full. She balked at another point on her second vault. There were some other just missed vaults, and I would be interested if they had trouble adjusting to the apparatus, or it was more just one of those things.
I did love the video of them all learning Italian hand language.
Very important.
So it's hilarious and adorable, and you need to know what the things mean so you don't accidentally offend someone when you go to Italy. I've obviously never done that, so it's
no, Jessica doesn't offend anyone.
Never. That's never happened. Charlie won silver on bars. Oh, speaking of beautiful toe point on bars, Spencer, let us talk to our guest, Emma Slevin.
Yes. If you don't know Emma Slevin, the pride of Ireland, as Jessica described her, but also true. A top elite we've enjoyed watching for a long time. Also the first Irish woman ever to qualify for the all-around final at a World Championships, among many other elite accomplishments. She is now in her first year of competition at the University of Minnesota. And most recently that we saw, got a 9.95 on bars at the Big Ten Championship, and one judge went 10. So listen to Jessica's interview with Emma now.
You're kind of part of the new pathway system that Gymnastics Ireland created, and your success is part of that along with Reese and Hallie. And can you explain what that, like we hear pathway and I'm like, so you don't have to have a job, you can just be a full-time gymnast? Like, do they do everything for you? Like, what is it? Can you give like some examples of how they helped your success and what they offer you?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I was younger, there was like there was a system, but it wasn't like, I was never told like, if you follow this system, you're going to be successful in the sport and you're going to be at the Olympic level. And that started to come in as like me and my teammates at the time, like as we progressed, and they kind of built it with us. And so it's like, if you stay on this pathway, you're going to be like at the world level, at the Olympic level. And so now that that's like set in stone and we have like the pathway on, like, if you stay within those standards and you keep like improving as the years go on and stay within those standards, like you're going to reach those goals. And like that was something that was never there before our time. And so it was kind of like a gray area. And like gymnastics is just such a small sport. When I was growing up, like nobody did it. I remember like telling people in school that I was like a gymnast and like I was taking it seriously, and they were like, right, like, yeah. Like no one really like saw a future in the sport, like me included, but I guess I just like stuck with it and like I just loved it enough to, hold out hope. And
Yeah, and you did it. You've been so successful, made history. It's so fun to see. And I like that it's worked for both men's and women's, because so often, yeah, we see a system that is like, one is doing really well, and it's so fun to see, which would be so awesome if you guys get to do the mixed team event. That would be so cool. So you are still on the path to LA 28, right? Like you're staying in elite.
Yeah, I'm planning to. I think right now, like I'm just doing my NCAA, and then I'm going to rebuild and go for Euros this year and then see where it takes me. But yeah, that's the plan for now.
Why did you decide to come to the US? Like what inspired you to do college gymnastics?
I don't know. It's something I always wanted to do, but I guess I just like didn't really know the process and like how to even get here. And so I started like studying in Dublin, and I did my degree, and after 3 years I graduated, which would have been last summer. And then I had like the option of either doing gymnastics full time or starting my master's program. And then I like didn't really like the sound of either of that, because it's just like the school sport balance at home just like wasn't working for me. And so I was like, I'm gonna have to do full time gymnastics. And then I was like, I can't do that. I was like a whole lot of back and forth. And then I thought about the option of being like a student athlete here, where it's like so much more normalized and something I always wanted to do. And it was very last minute when I decided to do it. So I was like, it might not work out, but it eventually did work out. And now I'm loving it over here.
So you're doing your master's now in exercise science. All right, my undergrad is also in exercise science, so
yeah,
I understand the classes you're taking. So you have 2 years of eligibility, or you've not decided yet, or so right now you're this year, next year will be.
Yeah, right now it's this year, next year. I don't know if I can go beyond that, but we'll see. I don't really know how the whole compliance thing works, but
yeah, we don't either, because since NIL, they're completely changing it, which I hope you guys get to participate in this. Although, I mean, has it helped at all? Like when you go home, can you, you're on break, you can sign NIL deals and then come back? I mean, you can do it when you're not in the country.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It changes like every day, I think. So it's like hard to keep up sometimes.
Is there any brand you want to work with, or any NIL deal? Do you want to be the, face of, I don't know, Galway? Come to Galway. Emma Slevin is here. It's where she learned everything.
Maybe. I mean, it might be a good like tourist kind of, I don't know, maybe they can attract more tourists to Galway, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so what has been the best part and the hardest part about adjusting to college gymnastics?
The best part, just like the team environment, and like I think competing every weekend has just like really helped like build confidence like back into like my gymnastics and everything, as well as like just being on the team. Like it's just been so amazing having like that support system, and like the structure has just transformed, I think, my gymnastics so much since like last year. Even like when I look back, I'm like, whoa, I've gotten so much better, But the hardest part, I think, has just been like the distance from home, I guess. Like being like 9-hour flight away is kind of difficult, and just coming in as a transfer too is difficult, like because I'm new to the whole system, but like I'm not a freshman, and like kind of getting to know the point system and like all of that, and like adjust to like the equipment even is like slightly different. But I think I picked up on a lot of that pretty fast, so it was fine. But I remember initially it was like, whoa, what's happening? Like, what's a 10-0 and like how do I get there? So it's like,
Yes, right?
yeah.
And it is a mystery to many of us still. How does this judging work in college? Yeah, that totally makes sense. Being in exercise science now, first of all, is school okay? Like US school is notorious for being like way easier than European school. I'm just gonna say, is it easier than you thought it was gonna be? Harder?
I think it's pretty like what I expected, pretty much what I expected, but it's also like, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not as hard as school was at home, but also I'm not in as many credits, so maybe that's why. But yeah, I think with my undergrad, like it was definitely more of a struggle.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think is a benefit to if you come from Europe here. It's like, oh, school's super easy compared to not super easy. It depends on what you're doing and all that, but yeah, it's like the way things are taught is just like very different. And yeah, at 2021 Worlds, we talked about mats being used and how the FIG is like no safety, no extra mats. But do you think that the way that mats are allowed for safety in NCAA is something that should be followed? Do you like what they're doing? Should the FIG look at this and adopt it maybe?
Yeah, I don't know how they have it. Like I don't see an issue with it at all. And like I don't really use mats that much just because my skills like in NCAA don't need them. But like I don't do my Jaeger here, and if I did do my Jaeger, I know I'd want that mat in. And so many of my teammates do that, and there's just like I don't even notice the mats there, and I know the judges don't notice either. So it's just I don't know. To me, I just can't wrap my head around why it's not like permitted yet, or if it will be. But I really hope that that rule is like really pushed to be changed, because I just feel like it could prevent so many unnecessary injuries, and like even just like short like acute landings or anything, like even like the sting mats on the floor that you can, they're like this thick but they can save your ankles and just little things like that. Yeah, I think they would make such a big difference.
Since you're an exercise scientist now, are there things that you have learned in school that you have thought like, oh my God, why don't we do this in gymnastics? Or this is not how we trained. Wait, am I doing this?
Yeah, I think for sure. And like even it just opened my eyes to the amount of like load our bodies take in just like one practice. Like it's so insane. And like you can see it on social media too with like it's like Simone Biles does a tumbling past and she hits the floor with like 8 times her body weight or whatever it is. And it's like that is like real. And like when you're doing it, you don't really feel it, but it's like wow, like when you think about how much that adds up over the years, it's pretty insane. But yeah, and I think like exercise science really opens your eyes to like why we do the conditioning that we do, and why it's like tailored to our sport compared to like other sports where it's like more endurance based, so they don't do as much of this, but they do more like cardio based stuff. And yeah, I think it's really interesting, but it also like ties my like assignments to like I can understand why everything is the way it is.
What was the most surprising thing for you adjusting to coming to the US? Just like culturally, like not just college, but like being here.
I don't
It's
know.
okay to say the food because we know.
I think just like the balance of like both school and like I think coming here is like such a difference to what I had at home. Like the gym is like 2-minute walk from my apartment, and that's like right next to where we have like all our meals, and they're made for us, and we can just like go there and like eat. And then we have like the campus is like 10 minutes that way. It's just like everything's so close, and it's like made to be so like not easy, but like everything's so convenient here. And it's like I never had any of that at home, so I'm like I feel like I'm losing life skills as I'm here, but it's like this is what I need. This is what I need to succeed as a student and as an athlete. So it's been absolutely amazing, and I am so grateful that I got to experience this, because this is like just exactly what I needed.
When I talk to lots of even elites in the US, they talk about how their college environment has so many resources that they never had at their home gym. Sometimes it's from equipment to trainers, whatever. What kind of stuff do you have at college that you didn't have at your home gym? Or what did you have at your home gym that you don't have at college?
Yeah, I think just like the frequency of that we can get treatment. Like our trainer's just always in the gym. Like she knows gymnastics, like it's the back of her hand because she watches it every single day for 4 hours. So it's like she just knows, like if I say like this happened, like she knows exactly what I'm talking about. She sees it most of the time because she'll like replay the camera, like, and it's just like the convenience of that is great because it's like everything's on site. And the training room is like attached to the gym, the brand new gym, and it's like glass, so you can just like see out, you can see in. It's perfect. Yeah, like the new gym is perfect. Like everything about it. I don't even think I could make it better if I tried. And it just makes going in there every day like so exciting. So yeah, I look forward to it every day.
It's obviously a very interesting time to be in the U.S. Did you have any reservations coming here, considering like the political climate in the U.S.?
Well, I mean, I came here to visit in the summer, and like a lot of my friends lived here in the summer, and like they would, it's kind of a common thing we do in Ireland. Like once you like are in your last year of college, like you'll come for the summer and you'll work for the summer on a J1 visa and then like go home. And like my teammate from home, Jane, was also in the US last year competing at Whitewater at a Division 3 school, and she literally like she was one of the people who was like, you should really look into like doing this if you want to. Like she loved it. And so when I saw how much she loved it, and she was coming back again this year, and like she has competed with them this year. And so I was like, I don't even know if I can like turn this down, especially with like the opportunities I was given. And I know she loved it so much, and I kind of like took that as like a sign. And just like with people like I know personally who have just enjoyed it so much here, whether it's like working here for the summer or like Jane, like who was competing here last year and like chose to come back. I just like, yeah, I couldn't really like, I don't think I could have thought of a good enough reason to not like go for it.
I also just wanted to ask, because you have such a unique perspective as an international student and also as an Irish person living in Minneapolis during the ice activity there. Like, how has it been for you? Do you have a perspective that's different maybe from the history of Ireland watching this unfold in your city now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure. Like, I feel like a lot of the student athletes here, like a lot of us are international, and like it's so good to have like such a large community of international student athletes that I even like I live next to like a lot of international student athletes, and like we kind of have like our own community, and I guess like we kind of lean on each other, and like at home like it's just like they're living their lives and here we're living ours, and it's like, I mean, for me I just like go day to day and like nothing changes. It's like normal. So yeah, it's just like regular life for me.
Yeah, it hasn't been interference at school or anything like that.
No, it's
That's
been
good.
fine.
Have you ordered tea here yet?
I have not. I'm scared to. I don't know if I can do that.
Don't do it. Just skip.
Yeah.
Unless like, yeah, I have to go to like the World Market and get tea, or like, yeah, because it's so bad. We still don't know how to make tea
Yeah.
here.
Tea and chocolate I can't do here. I just can't do it.
No. And you can't buy the Cadbury here because Hershey's like sued Cadbury. You know about this whole thing that when you buy Cadbury, it's not real Cadbury in the US?
I know, and I got all my teammates the real one, and they were like, "This is amazing," and I said, "I know. You just don't know how it is at home."
Okay, I wanted to ask you if you have an unpopular gymnastics opinion. Like, I love the feel of chalk under my nails. It's my favorite. Unpopular gymnastics opinion.
Unpopular. I definitely have some. I know a lot of my teammates, and we were talking about this. I didn't mic'd up in practice today, and we were having this huge debate. Like some of them use like a sticky. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like
The spray?
it's almost like a paper towel, but it's like thicker and it's like sticky, and they put it on their hands before they vault or before they get on beam, and it's just like makes their hands sticky. And
Oh,
so
yeah. You wipe it on and then
yeah,
it makes
and
it,
some
yeah.
of my teammates will like wipe it on the beam, and I hate it because I'm like, how am I supposed to turn on a beam that's all sticky? Yeah, that's a very unpopular opinion of mine, and I don't know how common it is. I've never heard of a sticky till I got here, but everyone uses them. I don't like that.
Now that it's been a few years and you're in college, anything you want people to know?
I would say that I'm not done yet, and there's a lot more to come, hopefully. And I feel like I'm just like, I've grown so much as a gymnast, and like my confidence and just like passion for the sport is so much further than it was like 3 or 4 years ago. And I feel like I'm in it for all the right reasons now. So I just like, yeah, I'm really happy at where I'm at, and I'm excited for the future.
Thanks so much to Emma for being with us, and we are wishing her the best this week competing at regionals. And yeah, just beautiful gymnastics. It's my favorite thing about NCAA. Like, the D is not as important as the execution. And so you see absolutely beautiful gymnastics, but then you also see insane things too, like Arabian double pikes. Before we get to Regionals Debate Club, a couple of updates for you guys. Live show at NCAA Championships in Fort Worth. You can join us virtually with a virtual ticket and participate live. Games, contests, you can win things. You can ask our special guest questions or ask Spencer, because Spencer will be one of your few chances to see Spencer in the flesh. It is. And as I mentioned,
Too scary. It's too
a
scary.
margarita bar across the street. It is very strong, though, so please, there might have been an Olympic all-around champion who literally fell out of her chair because the margaritas are very strong. They come in small jugs. So yeah, please join us. It's going to be super fun. You get your tickets at gymcastic.com. Also, College and Cocktails this weekend is regionals. It's all about regionals. So it's your totally unfiltered post-meet breakdown with us, all of our feelings in the moment. So that'll be Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific. This is an extra thing that we do for Club Gym Nerd members, and Club Gym Nerd members get special things like extended interviews, discounts, commission your own segments. We also have our podcast tour you can get a season pass to, which is only available for a very short time. You can get 4 live shows, virtual tickets, and it also makes a great gift. What holidays are coming up? Mother's Day, Father's Day, graduating from college.
April Fool's Day.
April Fool's is coming up. We should, you guys, I'm going to link to some of our April Fool's episodes that we used to do before we got too big to make April Fool's jokes, because they got taken too seriously, and then it became a problem. Sorry, you get 4 live show tickets for the price of 3. Not the price of 1, the price of 3. Anyway, Regionals Fantasy Game is open now. And also, we have a new suite of games. We have a daily Gymdle game. We have weekly crosswords, word search, and news quizzes. Which, you know what happens is, Fact Checker makes this, and then he makes me take the quiz. Yeah. I refuse to take any of the word games because, I just sit there super frustrated because I have to look at letters. And that's, only numbers are worse than letters.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. We also have merch, which you definitely want to get because it's postseason and you want to meet your people in person. You don't want to have to introduce yourself. You just want people to be like, oh, you are a gymnastics fan too? Are you listening to GymCastic too? And then you meet your people, you become lifelong friends, you have like a little club, you watch all the meets together. This is how to find your people in person is go to gymcastic.com to the store tab and get some merch. Like the "My name is Carol, everything's a 10" name tag search shirt. It's one of our favorites. And you can find everything at gymcastic.com. Regionals Debate Club.
That's solid for Debate Club. That's good.
Right?
Let's use it. I like that.
Okay.
Back by popular demand. My favorite episode of the year, Jessica's Nightmare, when I force her to take a position on the big questions of the day. We are going to try our best to take real sides on real questions to preview each regional. First, I'm going to review the NCAA regionals format. So the teams have been assigned to their 4 regional sites. 36 teams are still in. The top 2 teams from each regional semifinal advance to the regional final. And then the top 2 teams from each regional final advance to nationals. So there will be 8 teams total at nationals. Individually, the top all-around score and top single individual on each apparatus who have not qualified with a team will also qualify to nationals from each regional. So total, that'll be 4 all-arounders and 16 routines. You could, a person could qualify on more than one, but 16 routines for individuals. So you're ready to begin? Shall we begin?
Ready. Are
Okay.
you ready?
Never. Not even close. Okay. We'll start with the Oregon State Regional because we don't bury the lead around here. We start with the big one, the group of death. Who's here? Semifinal 1, number 5 seed Alabama, number 12 seed Utah, Denver, and Oregon State. Semifinal number 2, number 4 seed UCLA, number 13 seed Minnesota, Iowa, and then San Jose State and Washington will be in the play-in round 1 of regional to see who then gets into the semifinal. The big deal of this one, UCLA, Alabama, and Utah all in a regional where only 2 teams can advance. And they are 3 of the original Big 4. So, gavel, gavel sound, gavel sound, gavel sound. This meeting of the Oregon State Regional Debate Club is now in session. The topic. Agree or disagree with the following statement. It would be good for the sport if Utah does not qualify to nationals. For the first time ever, ending a 50-year streak of qualifying to nationals dating back to before the NCAA invented women.
Agree.
Whoa. Okay. Tell me about
I know.
it.
Okay,
Okay,
because
okay.
it wouldn't be boring. It's
True.
healthy. It's healthy for sports. It's competitive. It's unpredictable. It's exciting. Like when there's stakes, it's way more exciting. We talk about this when like the FIG changed the finals to 3-up, 3 count, and everyone was like, it's the worst. It's so freaking exciting. Finals are so fun to watch. The same thing with the mixed pairs. It's so fun because there's stakes. You get completely knocked out. So it's also like then the same thing doesn't happen every single year. It's, I hate this because I want everybody to make it, but also it's sports and it makes it more exciting. And like, look at Clemson, right? Because they won the ACC title after 3 years. Great advertisements to add gymnastics. Don't get rid of it. Room for new teams. Look how quickly you can win. ACC just added gymnastics back 3 years ago, 2024.
They had enough teams to have a championship, yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't have it for like 50 years because they didn't have enough teams. So, and also you can't coast on past success, which is one of the things that is always, we love a dynasty, but also then when the dynasty goes on too long, then people just start hating on the dynasty. But, that's sports. Utah's ranked 12th. So they haven't earned their way to championships this year. And what's really exciting is you have to improve. You have to qualify this weekend, this week. That's it, or your season is over, which would be shocking and disappointing and upsetting. But it's also freaking exciting, and they could totally turn it around and qualify. So I agree. If they don't make it, it's good for the sport. I'm making faces. It's painful to say.
I will take the disagree side. Mostly because I don't think it, like, big picture, long run matters, like big concept health of the sport. If it's Utah or it's UCLA or it's Alabama who qualifies or doesn't, it's just kind of one result versus a different result. I will also say, based on March scores recently, UCLA and Utah are probably have been outscoring Alabama and would probably be the favorites. And I kind of think Alabama's a little bit of the underdog, even though the rankings don't tell us that Alabama is the underdog. I won't be like gasping with a champagne glass in the billiard room if Alabama makes it. I don't think there's a surprise in any of the results, and it's just going to be like a wobble or two, a stuck landing or two in it. In terms of not being good for the sport if Utah doesn't make it, I think if you're going purely on eyeballs, Utah has a fan base. So I don't think you can really say it's good for the sport if the team with like around the best attendance, sometimes the top attendance or right up there with the top attendances isn't at nationals. Utah fans travel really well, and they're not going to travel if they're not in it. Like there was the woman I saw at the UCLA meet. I don't know this woman's name. I don't know anything about her. She has been at literally every single college gymnastics meet I've ever been to in my entire life. I have seen this lady who was there, giving a standing ovation to every Utah routine. And if Utah doesn't qualify, you lose those people. And nationals is already kind of half dead in the arena. Like it's not as fun as your regular big team dual meet during the season because there are fewer people there. And this is your like look at us TV moment. It's not great if like you have even fewer of the traveling fans because the Utah fans aren't showing up. So I guess that would be my not good for the sport argument. Also, just this regional is one where I actually feel a little Jessica-y about it because I think these are 3 teams I want to see all of them at nationals. I think they've been really fun to watch. All three have been really fun to watch. If you were just hand-picking your teams for nationals, I would pick all three of them as part of my 8. And Utah is this specific Utah team is doing things a lot that we want to encourage, and we want more college gymnastics to be like that. Like Avery Neff is doing some different skills that not everyone's doing. Ella Zerbas's form. We have really enjoyed Sage Curtis's floor this season. There are a lot of routines that I would want to see and I would pick to see at nationals.
I agree with that.
So are you changing your mind?
No, I'm not. Because this is a debate. But I would like everybody to make it, but it's more exciting. But also, I love what I'm agreeing with is what like the original skills and stuff. Like I like what Dockendorf has brought as a head coach, like having more creativity and fun. And then if it doesn't work out, you change it later.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I get what you're saying in yours as well about.
Thank you so much.
We're very mature. We're very,
yeah,
even.
I know. I am very worried for Carly, their new head coach. If they don't make it, I feel like Utah's the kind of school that's just like, this doesn't happen to us, so that will be it, which would make me sad because I feel like she could do better with more time. But anyway, I hope she still stays, but not as head coach. I don't know. I just like her. Okay.
Whoa, you're just going now. Jessica's swinging the axe now.
Well, this is what happens. This
is what happens at a debate club. The tough semifinal question: should there be some wild card nationals opportunity of some sort for great teams or individuals who get a really sucky regional draw like this one, like Minnesota and Iowa and Denver and Oregon State got, where they're in this group of death regional?
So I'm going to say, all right, so I would like that because individuals are the most important part, because this is actually an individual sport and not a team sport. So the people I would like to see at nationals, Avery Neff, obviously. Like,
so you just decided not to answer my question.
Yes, I just said there should be a wild card.
Okay.
Yeah, which should be Avery Neff and Gabby Gladio and Aurelia Tran. The Aurelie Tran. I like to mix it up with my pronunciation of her.
Sure, great.
Yeah, I do. I feel like, there should be do you feel like there should be Wednesday play-in meet with two teams?
What?
Is that?
No, because I think it's kind of just like the way it is at regionals, where that's an afterthought. I don't think there should be a wild card opportunity for teams. I think this is it. And it's more fun if it's just like elimination. And I think you get more fun. What am I trying to say? It's better when you have weird rankings, like Utah being 12th, which we wouldn't have expected, because it creates like the teams, there'll be a team that's very upset and very disappointed, but as a viewer, that's more fun. And so if you have a wild card opportunity, then it reduces the stakes, which is the whole fun in the first place.
Yes.
But I do think I would be fine with, especially if we redo how we're doing individual titles, having a like NQS wild card. Like, okay, you were in a tough regional, but you were great during the season, so you can go to nationals. I would be fine with that individually. But
then I don't like that, because that goes against the whole you have to do it at the time. But then again, I feel like sometimes the scoring isn't totally fair for the individuals. And sometimes it is totally fair for the individual. I don't know. I like the stakes. But do you like how I totally skipped your team part of that question and went straight to the individuals and was just
you ignored the team, but
here are the people that should make it no matter what. Even if they have to make it as individuals. Avery Neff, if Utah doesn't make it. Gabby Gladio from Alabama, because I need Gabby Gladio in my life all the time. Aurelie Tran, Iowa, Canadian, Olympian, vault. Okay. If it's going to be a bunch of Yurchenko 1.5s, right? And those
it usually is, yeah.
Everyone can do this. So are we going to
Yurchenko 1.5?
Are we going to see something exciting like rewarding a clean Yurchenko full, like Sofia Esposito?
That is the most us thing ever, to classify something not only these 1.5, something really exciting, like beautiful form, like a really good Yurchenko full, the big showcase.
Yurchenko full that needs to be flared out like it's the 1992 Olympics. That's the kind of Yurchenko full we want to see. Bars, Chloe Lacourcier, again, Alabama. Azariah Akbar. She has
if Alabama doesn't go through as a team, I think definitely their bars workers would be the favorites.
Yeah, like if Georgia doesn't make it, then it's Jeffrey Scott has to be there. The whole thing's canceled. Emma Slevin, obviously, gorgeous, amazing form. Jordan Leiden and Orly Tran, again, great bars worker. And from Minnesota, Brooklyn Rowe.
For
Floor.
Beam.
Oh, for
Yeah.
Beam, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Brooklyn Rowe doesn't do bars, but I'm sure it would be
No,
beautiful.
I was just continuing, Beam. Minnesota has a great history of beam workers.
Mhm.
Floor, Gladio, again. Bench
Making the
pressing.
floor, yeah.
Very important. Jamison Sears. If we don't get Jamison Sears' crazy ass energy at nationals, like what is even the point? That has to happen. Also, what if we are walking across the street and we don't just all of a sudden hear someone say they say something and then the whole team responds in unison, Roll Tide. It's something you hear in the streets when the Alabama team is walking around. So, okay. Let's move on to the Arizona State Regional.
Arizona State Regional.
Murder Pig.
Yes. Okay. Who's here? First semifinal, number 6 seed Georgia, number 11 seed Michigan State, BYU and Southern Utah. Semifinal number 2, number 3 seed Florida, number 14 seed Cal, Penn State, and then the winner of the play-in, which is Arizona State against Arizona. So this meeting of the Arizona State Regional Debate Club is now in session with the topic, agree or disagree with the following statement. Number 3, Florida, is the favorite to win this year's national championship.
So, here's the thing. I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
Because we all know of the ancient coach's curse.
Oh my God. Okay.
If a team has won with one coach, they will never again win with a different coach. So far, this is true. It's never happened. So
the team
they
has
would
never won a national championship with a second head coach.
Right. So they would have to break the curse.
And obviously that cannot ever happen. So it's
I don't know if they know the rituals, if they have to all, circle a gator, find
So your actual response is disagree unless they know the rituals.
Obviously.
Okay.
And then number 2, Spencer, it goes back to you. It's your fault because the Spencer theorem states that never, ever, 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 ever bet against Oklahoma. And I refer to the famous press conference where KJ Kindler held up a piece of paper with a quote from you, Spencer Barnes, of the Balance Beam situation that said, if there is a year when it is actually safe to predict Oklahoma not winning, this is the year. And this is the year we're highlighted because the team chose this as their motivational quote for the locker room.
You're welcome. You're welcome on the championship, as I've always said.
So it's your fault.
Okay, so you're saying you can't bet against Oklahoma. You're not going to invoke the printout?
We don't, I'm just going based on your science. So that's, So, Florida could fall apart at nationals. You never know. Winning is not based on the number of elites you have. It's not based on, ninja level 10s is what we learned from Oklahoma. And so, they obviously have some amazing routines, but, their floor is okay. It's not extraordinary and perfect. They don't have Leanne Wong on floor anymore. And they haven't gotten their landings on vault, where we know that Oklahoma's like vault landings. Just FYI, all we do is chandeliers and vault landings. Thank you very much. So, over to you.
I will agree that Florida is currently the favorite to win the national championship. I think that they have the highest ceiling, not just because they have the top score of the year, but 1 to 6 in the lineup. I think when you are earlier in the lineup, you're number 2 person, you're number 3 person. Florida has the most people who could still get like a 995 from that position. They're able to put up a Sky Blakely or a Kayla Jesolo kind of earlier because they're like, we don't need to save you for the last one. We have other people who are also going to get a 995 for the last position. I also thought it was really interesting. SEC's was interesting to me. Florida won the title, which I think elevated them to favorite, I would guess, in my mind. And, who knows what happens at regionals? We will see. Right now, I saw a different result than I expected, and that we've seen historically in terms of how the teams reacted to this is the final rotation of a close meet that's a big meet. I mean, we laugh about conference championships, but to the teams, it's really important, especially in the SEC. They take it really seriously. They're really into winning an SEC championship. And Florida was the team that didn't go to pieces. Oklahoma was fine on floor, but had some errors. And I don't really think, they didn't do a full Oklahoma lock in. We've never had a deduction floor rotation. LSU was kind of hoppy on vault, and there was a matting issue. And Florida was the one that reacted to the tense environment the best. And I think that's new. So that was something in my mind where I said, maybe this year is different. But yeah, when it's a tight championship meet, I'm thinking about 2021 when Michigan finished on vault, 2018 when UCLA finished on beam, and they had to just do the most amazing rotation and finish with just everyone did perfectly. Florida's the team that can finish with an everyone did perfectly rotation. My tough semifinal question. I want to move on to some of the other teams here, the other qualification conversations. Has the death of Cal Gymnastics been overstated? Because that was kind of the impression. Coaches left, lots of the top gymnasts graduated. It was Cal's not going to have it anymore. They're still kind of good. Or are they going to get upset by Penn State in the semifinals?
So this is the thing. I don't think, because they have so many of the same people stayed on that team, people didn't leave and go when the coaches changed. People still decided to go there. And I think that's the strength of being Cal. It's am I going to get a degree from the number one public university in the world? Or am I going to go somewhere else because of gymnastics? So I think, and the Tanya Paulson factor cannot be overstated. Right. So I think that they're not going to lose to Penn State.
Yeah. So you're good with Florida, Georgia, Michigan State, Cal, the seeds being the teams in this regional that advance to the regional final?
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything, do you think Georgia's in danger of Michigan State?
This is the thing.
For making nationals?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one. I think it's tight. And like most of these, the favorite is the team that's seeded higher, but they can't afford too many mistakes, which is kind of, one of the reasons we like to do the debate club is that it's kind of a different question than just once again being the team that's ranked higher is probably the favorite. But if they fall on beam, they might it gets kind of all right, yeah, just those are the rankings. But I kind of think that's how it is. Michigan State and Georgia, though, they have scored exactly the same the last couple meets. So I think there's every reason to think that one's going to be close and exciting.
Yep, I agree.
Do you want to tell me about your individuals
for
this regional?
The most important part of this is the individuals, because after all, it is an individual sport. Thank you for asking, Spencer. Okay, if their team doesn't make it, Nikki Smith of MSU, Michigan State, if they lose to Georgia, Nikki Smith has to go to nationals. End of story. She belongs there. That's it.
As the all-arounder and all the event qualifiers, and
just
free
send
Nikki
her
Smith, go to nationals. Yeah.
Sage Kellerman, talked about her vault for years. Gorgeous. Doesn't just do a boring Yurchenko 1.5. Remember when those were rare? Yeah, Sage Kellerman's gorgeous front handspring front half. Amazing. And she should absolutely go. Bars Tanya Paulson, because the most beautiful form on bars. She is the
definitely up there.
The Mara Jesolo of 2026. Beam Paulson again should go.
Yeah. It's just Nikki Smith and Tanya Paulson should just be nationals.
Yeah, Cal's whole beam lineup could probably go. Trostel MSU, because we talked about her Anodi and how doing that Anodi series is so freaking cool and so hard. And if there's anything we know the NCAA judges appreciate, it's, that was harder. So we're going to reward that. And doing a connected Anodi is nuts. It's rare in elite. It's rare in the world, not just in NCAA gymnastics. And to do it every week for 14 weeks is nuts. So floor, I'm just going to put Tanya Paulson in there again.
Yeah, just Nikki Smith and Tanya Paulson again. Yeah.
If Georgia, but I'm going to go back to Beam for a second, because if Georgia doesn't qualify, then Jeffrey Scott has to go.
Sure, and Beam and bars, yeah.
Yes, period, end
But
of
then,
story.
you know, if Georgia doesn't qualify, then either, you know, Michigan State or Cal presumably would be going. And then Nikki Smith would be out of the options. Tanya Paulson, yeah, there would be room.
And then if Georgia doesn't qualify, also Kamara has to go.
Yeah,
for
everything.
floor, and everything else, because, and also we need, is she still 17? We need the tradition of there being one minor at NCAA championships every time. And then Sophie Durr, because her Hamilton routine, Arizona State.
Arizona,
sorry. Oh, the meet is at Arizona State,
correct.
Not Murder Piggies. She is from Murder Piggies.
She's at Arizona. Yeah.
Yes.
And she won our Hamilton off of who had the best Hamilton routine this year.
The best. Her gymnastics is stunningly gorgeous, and hopefully it will be recognized here. So, shall we move to LSU?
On. Yeah, let's move on to the LSU Regional. So who's here? Semifinal 1, number 7 seed Stanford, number 10 seed Michigan, North Carolina, and Utah State. Semifinal number 2 is number 2 seed LSU, 15 seed Clemson, Auburn, and either Air Force or Nebraska after the play-in. So let's go to this meeting of the LSU Regional Debate Club, which is now in session. The topic, agree or disagree with the following statement: staying at home for regionals is actually bad for LSU.
Agree. I'm taking the agree side, obviously, because...
Okay, if you don't want these sides, just change that.
Because let me give you my points here, obviously. That in the long run, obviously, yes, because LSU's road record is really bad, Spencer. It's really bad. Lost to Georgia away, lost to Oklahoma away, lost to Florida away, could have lost to Missouri away. Controversial meet result, shockingly. Lost to Florida and Oklahoma away at SEC meets. So, home is easier. Covers up weaknesses. LSU needs competitive adversity. And mostly, can Mr. McCool hold the mat correctly when the entire meet is on the line? That is the real question. Nationals last year, LSU upset in the semifinal, didn't even make it to the final, and someone's coach may have been drunkenly upset about it and threatening to sue people. Obviously, I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but could that happen again?
Always possible.
Yeah.
I'll take the disagree side, which is the more boring answer, by the way, the less fun one. But I think in general, like, you know, home meet is good. LSU is going to advance to nationals from this regional, whether it's, you know, in Baton Rouge or Nepal or Mars. It kind of doesn't matter where this meet is. And the advantage is resting and not traveling, which is a legitimate advantage at the end of a long season. And the confidence of getting a huge score maybe outweighs the papering over that happens at a home meet. I mean, I get like it allows the freedom to drink your own Kool-Aid when you're at home. But I do actually think that LSU should get some competitive adversity from this regional, because Stanford is there. And it is either going to be, there are two ways this regional, I feel like there are two ways this regional goes. Either Stanford has a great one and LSU is like, wait, what? We weren't even considering you as a challenger. And then Stanford has a great one. Or Stanford kind of has an ACCs on vault and it's just chaos forever. Because this could, if Stanford doesn't run away, this is the chaos regional where it could be anyone. And part of that is that LSU has a really hard semifinal. I think LSU has the worst national semifinal of any of the top teams, with Clemson and Auburn there, which I think could go either way. And a lot depends on how healthy Auburn is actually going to end up being able to be. But those are two really good teams to have in a semifinal. And LSU is the favorite to advance, would be even if they weren't at home. But that's a really tough one. So I think they are getting sufficient competitive adversity, even if they get the luxury of being at home. But yeah, I mean, they have struggled at road meets this year.
Yeah.
And by struggle, they mean not beat the other top teams. If they're getting like 197-9 and losing, it's not like you struggled, but you didn't win, and they will always expect to win and beat all of their conference opponents.
Okay, so the tough semifinal question. Why the fuck is everyone a tiger? Did they not have any other animals when these schools were invented? What, can we change them now? Also, we don't have tigers in the United States. So could they be, we used to have jaguars in the US. Now they're coming back from South America. Thanks, climate change. Is there another native species? We have anteaters here in California. Okay. What are the native snakes? Are scary. What about being a snake? Some kind of poisonous snake? I'm sure there's a scary spider. No one's a spider.
I know. We need to get rid of it's not imaginative enough. I actually would be interested in the why. The actual why of why. It's just tigers, tigers, tigers. Everybody's a tiger.
And why hasn't PETA broken that poor tiger out of that cage in LSU? I stop importing. I know that that's not the worst thing in the whole world, because there's like places in Texas where they import endangered animals and people hunt them. I don't know how any of this stuff goes on, but yeah, you guys, let's find new things. Yeah. And I say this. I just want to say, I say this lovingly because I graduated from a school that was the Golden Gators, as in the Golden Gate motherfucking bridge. And then some dipshits changed it to gator, like an actual alligator, which there are none in California. We don't have those, and that's stupid. And the Golden Gate Bridge is majestic and amazing and a feat of engineering. So I say that with, the embarrassment that comes with something dumb.
I graduated from a Tigers. So, rough.
Yeah.
My other, obviously second most important, but my other semifinal question is what I really like about the Clemson-Auburn thing in that LSU semifinal is that it's kind of the new NQS versus old NQS. Because Clemson's ranking really benefited from the new NQS. This is less a question and more just something I wanted to say, I guess. But we did the question with the Tigers.
Obviously, that was the tough question.
That was the tough question. And I don't have a great answer and would like to know the history of it. Clemson had a pretty consistent season. Like, they did not have huge highs, huge lows, which is rewarded by the new NQS that counts more scores. Auburn had a wild season, like wide range of results. And if we were in old NQS, this would have been swapped, and Auburn would be the ranking favorite here, and Clemson would be the underdog. So it's kind of like what is actually the better reflection of a team's postseason capabilities? Is the new NQS a better reflection, or is it a worse reflection that just makes things more exciting and puts Utah in a tough regional? Or is the old NQS really the one that it would have stated Auburn's quality as higher than Clemson's? So we're going to see. And that's kind of, I like a clear different head-to-head. What am I saying? Head-to-head.
Yeah.
Sure. Whatever.
I just wanted to revisit some ideas for the animals, deadliest animals.
Great.
Okay, so we have, obviously, alligators. Bull shark. How about that? Okay. There's cottonmouth. Cottonmouth is a scary snake. Copperheads, coral snake, rattlesnake, yellow jackets. I mean, brown recluse. That's a scary one. A disease-carrying mosquito.
Whoa. What did you Google to get this list? I want to know. What was your
deadly animals of the southern United States list?
Great. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I bet you guys didn't think about spiders. Oh, the Florida panther. There we go. Okay. We can go back to gymnastics now.
Okay.
All right.
We have some notes for the Tigers.
Yes. You guys, come on now. Favorite individuals, because this is an individual sport after all. So who's the most important thing to watch? Who's going to qualify as an individual? So if their teams don't make it, we have to have from Stanford, Anna, open hips don't lie, Roberts.
Very important.
And Shakira should play every time she vaults or does anything in a layout position. if she vaults in the presence of any of these other teams at nationals, she will win because she is so obviously has superior form no matter what on her vaults. So, or if Stanford qualifies as a team, which is absolutely possible because they are amazing.
They're
and when
seeded to do so.
They are seated that way and they can get a 198. Maggie, I'm in the Air Force actually. So Sylph. Slife.
Yeah.
So, you guys, it's dyslexia. I don't mean to say it wrong. It's just her name could appear anyway. Yeah, Maggie Slife from the Air Force, because that's just insane that she continues to be this freaking good as in the Air Force. Also, vault, if Auburn doesn't make it, Paige Zan can. And God, I hope she gets to design her own leotard if they make it. Do you think they were like, just in case you can design a just for being her vault should have its own leotard design, and she also should
what would the design look like?
It would be based on just being like an sort of an astronaut rocket of speedy stripes, kind of like that Leo Melanie de Jesus dos Santos wore. That was the most beautiful leotard that she ever wore, which was designed by like some fancy French design company. Remember that one? I don't know. It's like Chanel or I don't know who designed it. Did they have clothes? I don't know what they designed. I don't know. But remember that Leo is gorgeous. Yeah. So she has her handspring on, handspring front pike, which we don't, a lot of people are like, what's she doing? Why is there a handspring on? But it's just like doing a round off. A round off is just a transition to put you in position to do a good vault. So if for a front vault, you can transition instead of hurdling, front handspring on, which I think is terrifying. But it's like, he probably was like, oh, that looks easy. I'll do that. It feels right for me. So bars, Isabella Minervini from Towson, who we've talked about for years, absolutely gorgeous. She needs to make it because Team Shmeem. She is winning our Interventionville qualifiers contest. Also, if Michigan doesn't make it, Kaylee Boozer. It's basically Boozer, Michigan. That's what they should change their name to because perfect form, no notes. She's just like, yeah, I could watch her gymnastics all day. Bree Clark, if Clemson doesn't make it, oh my God, if Clemson makes it, the first year of the Howells being the head coaches, that would be so insane. Has that ever happened before?
I mean, the first year there was
UCLA.
nationals, all of the coaches would have been their first year.
I mean, no, I mean,
but like a first year head coach making it to nationals.
But they've never made it before. Like the team has never made it to national championships. And the coaches take over for the first time and they make it. I don't think that's ever happened before. That would be, I hope they have it in their contracts for a bonus if that happens. And all the athletes have it in their NFC. Oh, that's right. You can't be paid for performance. So they can't. But anyway, Bree Clark, Clemson, she can do the Biles one, double layout, half out, land, facing the other way, facing out at the audience. Boom. Yeah, we would like to see that. So if Clemson doesn't make it, she should do it. She should do it anyway, just because it's good publicity. And it's fun.
In the semifinal.
Yeah, and we want to see it. So,
and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the final regional, the Kentucky Regional. Teams, semifinal 1 is 8 seed Missouri, 9 seed Arkansas, NC State, and Maryland. Semifinal 2 is number 1 seed Oklahoma, number 16 seed Kentucky, Ohio State, and then the winner of the Central Michigan Rutgers play-in. This meeting of the Kentucky Regional Debate Club, tap, 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 is now in session. The topic, agree or disagree with the following statement. I'm going to put you on the spot again. 7 of the top 9 ranked teams being from the SEC is a fiction based on attention and reputation rather than gymnastics quality.
True.
Okay, let's go.
That's true. It's based on people seeing what gets more TV time. And so that's what people associate. And good for the SEC for getting their deal with ABC and ESPN and having that all built in. Like, that's great. But it's not actually true of the gymnastics. So, and then Oklahoma was just added. Like, I mean, and also like it's Yeah, I don't think that that's true. I think it is a fiction made up by the SEC, who do an excellent job at propaganda. They do such a good job at propaganda that people go there and repeat that, not even knowing it.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Fair. I will disagree.
Okay.
I will say from like we watch a lot of SEC. They have the Friday Night Heights, and we're always like, oh, these scores. When you go watch the other meets from other conferences, my overall reaction is these scores. Like you think the SEC teams are being overscored, and then you're like, oh, everyone's getting that. I think they're ranked. I think you can debate the margins a little bit, fine, but I think they are actually ranked where they are because they are the strongest teams gymnastically. And it's self-fulfilling in that, yeah, they have the most money in these athletic programs and they build the facilities and they can attract the top coaches. So yeah, they have an advantage, but the advantage is like money, not necessarily that much the scoring, because while it's overscored, I think like it happens everywhere. Everywhere is like very charitable scoring. And one of the things I think is it's different. One of the changes versus the way things were like 20 years ago in college gymnastics scoring is that I think it's less the difference between the home team's scoring advantage and the road team at the same meet. It's not the same. Back in the day, it was like the home team gets a great score and the road team doesn't. And now it's like everyone just gets a huge score all the time, everywhere. In every conference, at every competition. So yeah, I think they are. You look at the quality of this gymnastics, I think it holds up even if they were, being judged by the same judging panels as the teams in other conferences every week. I think it would be more or less about the same.
I will add to just throwing it out there that one of the things about the teams that have the most money, meaning they have 20 fully funded spots, because that's all you can have now. And a lot of teams don't have that. I think there's only 6 teams that have 20 fully funded spots. One of the things you can do with that, which we have heard is happening, is you can recruit talent that you don't ever plan on using. So you have the top recruits, and they might or might not know that they're never going to make a lineup because they're not as good as the 10 elites on the team. But it is an advantage of having that money is, yeah. And you may use those people, but yeah, it's one of those things.
My tough semifinal question for you.
Yeah.
Is Arkansas crazy or crazy genius to choose to start on floor and end on beam in the national semifinal? So we were talking about this year how the teams get to pick based on rank order what events they want to start on. And we were like, okay, so the top seeds are all going to pick Olympic order, and then the next seed will pick bars. For the most part, that is how it happened, but more teams chose to start on floor than I thought they were going to. When they had options for they could have started on bars. Arkansas is one of them. Missouri picked bars. Arkansas picked floor. So NC State in that semifinal gets Olympic order. They're starting on vault. I want to know if this is crazy or great and what it tells you about their strategy.
I think this is genius because not crazy.
Not just crazy genius.
Crazy genius.
Yeah.
Because I think that you have to take the whole picture of the athletes into perspective. So where's their energy level? You need the most energy for floor, period, of all the events. So do you want to give them the advantage of not being tired at the end? And it might be they have to compete more than once this weekend. And you want to make sure that they have all the energy you can. So start with the hardest event that requires the most cardio, give yourself a scoring advantage, and then end with the easiest event that requires the least amount of energy. That's what I would think.
The other thing I will say, I think it's interesting. I like the strategy because I think it's picking with the intent to advance. Like you're assuming you're going to, if Arkansas makes it to the regional final, which they're seeded to, they'll be probably one of the lower ranked teams and get a later pick. So you're like, we're betting on ourselves that we're going to advance through this semifinal. So we're going to give ourselves a challenge and make sure we expect to hit beam in a, elimination meet at the last rotation. We expect that, so we're not going to shy away from that. And we're going to prepare ourselves, because this is probably the draw we're going to end up getting forced to pick in the regional final once we make it there. So I think it says confidence to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Those teams, and Michigan, I believe, did the same thing, picked that order when they had the same pick. And I think that says we're confident that we're already going to make it through this part, so we're not even thinking about that.
And now the most important part, favorite individuals, because this is an individual sport after all. So for the all-around, Luciana Alvarado-Reed from Central Michigan.
One of your very
Minnesota.
favorites.
Central
Michigan. Yeah, you had it right.
Yes. It's Utah and Michigan that have 7,000 college teams.
Or they each have directions.
Like 5. Yeah. Michigan doesn't have do they have a Michigan Best of Michigan meet? They don't. Utah does, where all the Utahs compete, and Michigan does not. It should be the Golden Girls meet. Eastern Michigan has the Golden Girls meet. Yeah, we need to make this happen. Anyway, Luciana Alvarado-Reed, who is from Costa Rica, and she is absolutely one of my favorite gymnasts ever of all time. Beautiful form. She's so amazing to watch. And yeah, against the rules of the FIG, did the Black Lives Matter, Black Power salute in her floor routine at the Tokyo Games. So she is always a standout with courage. Chloe Cho, not with a team, a la Jenny Hansen, 90s Kentucky, 3-time all-around champion who didn't have a team. And Chloe Cho and the Cho Show from Illinois. Why don't we have that in the store? I hope they have the Cho Show shirts.
I'm sure I think they've got that market cornered, right?
And Illinois must have, please. I think they have real marketing. It's like a real sports. I don't know if you've ever heard of their sports stuff that goes on at Illinois, but they're not. Yeah. Vault Morgan Price, obviously, made history for Fisk with the first 10 on bars, then transferred to Arkansas and got the first 10 for Arkansas, 2 different schools, 2 different 10s, this time on vault. She is an incredible gymnast and is incredibly capable, so she needs to make it. Bars, Chloe Cho, obviously, she doesn't make it in the all-around. The Cho Show shall go on bars. Beam. Tell me about your Ohio State Beamers.
Oh, I do. I would love an Ohio State beamer to make it. I've really enjoyed a lot of what they're doing in terms of skill selection, like keeping it with Courtney McCann doing that layout to 2 feet. That's a real layout, and it's risky, and sometimes she's going to fall. And I'm like, yes, keep doing it. Put it in the anchor spot. Keep going for it. I really enjoy Ava Jackson on beam is doing a switch Simone. That's really satisfying. It's just a little different look, and it's like, oh, you're hitting it like in the diagonal, like how it looks very nice and intentional. So there's just a lot of different stuff happening on Ohio State's beam, and I think it would be cool if they got an individual beam qualifier.
And if nothing else, the most important thing to watch at this meet is their coach, because she does not care if she's going to get a yellow card for anything and lets her opinion be known. And we love that energy. So she understands whether there's a camera there or not, the importance of drama. And she has no problem telling people what she thinks of the scores. So look for her. On floor, JJ Coleman, who is from Ohio State, and she is my pick for surprise shock floor national champion. I'm just put stars and hearts next to her name, put a little sticker with some glitter on it because she is my unicorn.
That clinches it. Yeah.
That does, when you have a unicorn star glitter next to, if it's a puffy one too, scratch and sniff.
Done.
No scratch and sniff. Kreslin Bros, of course. Kreslin Bros, the most extra. Please let her go into the arts of some kind. She is a theater kid who is doing a floor routine and a beam routine. And we love to see it. She's doing it all. Everything that we say about you need to emote more, she is doing. Use her as the example on how to perform. Love to watch her. So crossing my fingers. JJ Cole and Kreslin Bros. All right, that's the end of Debate Club. But if you would like to test your theories, thoughts, predictions on regionals, we have a regionals fantasy tournament. It is now open. Fantasy regionals. Lineups lock Wednesday, April 1st at 11:55 a.m. Pacific time. April Fools. What else do the people need to know, Spencer?
So regionals begin right after that, Wednesday, with the Air Force versus Nebraska regional play-in that starts at noon Pacific time, right after lineups lock. The regional game is free, and the winner is going to win a mini commission. And all the individual qualifiers have been added. A note on the rules. So we're counting the cumulative score of each athlete. So if an athlete competes in 2 rounds of regionals, we're counting their total score. If an athlete is eliminated after 1 round, their single meet score will be their total points. So draft strategically of athletes you think are going to end up competing more than once. Like they advance all the way to the regional final, or they're in the play-in and then they advance to the regional semifinal and they get a second score that way.
Strategy. You can find all the fantasy details at gymcastic.com. Gymternet news. The biggest news. NAWGJ has announced her return. So she already said that bars is her favorite event, shockingly, and she wants to win a medal on bars. So I totally want Becky Downey on NAWGJ bars final at the Olympics in LA matchup. So she is planning...
Your dream is a head-to-head 2-person elimination bracket of bars finals.
Yes.
Oh, how fun would that be?
That would be 2-person elimination. I mean, it would be, honestly.
Yeah. No, that was
yeah.
I'm not necessarily practical, but we don't care about that. I'm into it.
Right. So she is returning to competition this year. So this is via Olympics.com. Thank you, Scott Bregman. And do you think that, Simone did say that she posted recently missing this, that like humble brag and here's, me doing something insane. And it is usually she returns 2 years before the Olympics. So what do you think? She needs to be at Worlds this year to...
No, I don't think she would need to do that.
Worlds 2027.
Yeah.
I agree. I think next year is the time, but I'm so excited that NAWGJ is coming back. So hopefully we'll see her in Rotterdam. Cyclone to Hawkeye. Iowa State junior Ella Schnell has posted on Instagram that she is transferring to Iowa. So that's 2 of the Iowa State discontinued gymnastics team who have gotten picked up by another school. But today is going to be interesting because I think today is the day the transfer portal opens. So the bloodbath will be on. It is, you can transfer now. I mean, you have to, notify your team that you want to be in the transfer portal. But yeah, it's not like the olden days where they could stop you. So it's going to be exciting to see who moves. The All-American list was released today. We will put a link up on our website so you guys can check it out. The thing I like about All-American is it's like, it's bragging rights. Like I was an All-American and blah, blah, blah. I didn't just like do this sport in college. I made it as an All-American. So
it's a tangible title that you can have.
Yes.
Like Dame or Duchess.
Exactly. That would be a better name for it. I like that.
Bars, 4-time bars Duchess.
Really? Because All-American is so... Because also doesn't Pee Wee football have All-Americans and stuff? I feel like it should be, in gymnastics...
It should be distinctive, yeah.
Right. The Simone Duchess of bars 4 times. Fisk, in sad news, Fisk competed their last meet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They started with a lot of good press, but didn't have the financial backing and the structure, the sport structure at the school to really keep going, but they made such a great impact. So I hope the next the next HBCU that adds gymnastics, I hope has a gigantic budget, or I hope it's a school that wants to really fund a gymnastics team. In dumpster fire news, couple things. Eric Stinton, who coached at now closed Northwest Gymnastics Training Center in Gresham, Oregon, is facing new charges related to allegations of sexual misconduct with a 3rd minor victim. He now faces a total of 6 counts of first-degree sexual abuse and another count of first-degree. I'm not even going to read that word because it's too upsetting. Stinson was first arrested in January and has pleaded not guilty to all charges. So this is via KOIN News in Gresham. Christopher Mula of beach team gymnastics has been suspended after a probe into allegations of misconduct. The investigation began in 2023. The Center for Safe Sport says the misconduct included emotional misconduct, inappropriate conduct, intimate relationship involving a minor, physical misconduct, violating NGB bylaws via social media and electronic communication. Again, that's Christopher Mula of Beach Team Gymnastics. And the Olympic Committee announced a broad ban of transgender athletes in women's event for the LA 2028 Olympics. But to give you a taste of good news after that dumpster fire news, a taste of gold has opened at the Houston airport. This is Simone Biles' new restaurant, opened at the Houston airport.
And she's head chef, right?
She is obviously head chef. She's there every day. She signs autographs. She'll sit with you and have lunch with you.
Yeah.
She waitresses too. I think she does everything there. I did love that, like, when they did the opening, that a bunch of people had, like, gold medals, like the staff and investors and whatever important person. It was, like, a very nice little touch that, you know, they had that. I wanted to tell you guys that we have, she should be the bartender. Obviously.
Just a surprise bartender.
But she would need to be, they'd have to have like a sliding stool apparatus that she could just slide back and forth. Because no one would be able to see her behind the bar. That's the problem. She would have to have little... Okay. But you can bet the margaritas are probably really good there because it is her restaurant. She should probably taste them. So we have chapter markers in the audio podcast and the video podcast. And I wondered if you guys have been using them, what you think of them, if they're worth it. Because, like, should I let the auto chapter thing do it? I take time to, like, make sure the chapters are there and accurate and all of that. And you can find all the nitty gritty stuff. But, you know, let us know. Give us some feedback. GymCastic@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment on the socials. So remember to get your live show tickets now before the discount ends. Remember, you don't have to be in Fort Worth at NCA's. You can join virtually and ask questions live. Early bird discount ends on April 1st. Behind the scenes, it will be College and Cocktails this week because it is Regionals week. And so we will see you on Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific. Remember to get your merch so you have time to order it and get it, gymcastic.com, before the meets are upon us, because it's coming up soon. And remember, until then, take off on gay, split on rights. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on Saturday.